Hi, my name is Rachel Faerber-Ovaska, and I'm going to talk about a chatbot conversation activity I designed for a French literature course I taught. I wanted to try a chatbot activity because I had a small undergraduate French literature class with half the students attending via live video conference and half in person. And I wanted to increase their opportunity for interpersonal communication in French. And also, I wanted them to be able to personalize their learning. Here's how we did it. Over the course of the semester, students needed to complete 5 20-minute conversations with a chatbot on topics we'd worked on in class. I loaded the conversation prompts into free ChatGPT 3.5 accounts that I shared with the students, and I gave the students some starter questions. Students used a voice communication add-in for 2 of the conversations, and they filled out reflection questionnaires after every conversation. And I graded this activity on completion, not for accuracy of form. Here you can see the 5 general topics of the assigned conversations. The topics varied between conversations, but here's the basic set of prompts and parameters I gave the chatbot each time. As you can see, you can specify a certain language level and definitely tell the chatbot to ask the student questions and remind it to limit its response length. Here's a screenshot of what ChatGPT can produce with that set of parameters, but it varies every time, and that unpredictable aspect of chatbot communication is what makes it kind of fun. The written interpersonal communication went well, but there was some trouble with comprehensibility when the students tried to use spoken input and output with the chatbot, because I think the chatbot's capacity to comprehend non-native like spoken French was not as flexible as a human conversation partner would be. So it had trouble understanding some students' non-native spoken French input. From reading the students' conversation transcripts, I found they picked up new phrases and ways of asking questions that were first modeled by the chatbot. Students used interesting strategies for comprehension, such as asking the chatbot to answer its own question if they didn't understand the question, and then they could follow up. The students reported that discussing the material in this sort of low stakes environment helped them to understand things better. Here are my suggestions. The questions that students asked the chatbot provided valuable insight into their learning, so definitely pay attention to those. Also, these conversations averaged 2,500 words apiece, so it's better to grade them for completion. And lastly, it's important to know that ChatGPT 3.5 had trouble understanding students' accented spoken French input. In conclusion, I'd say this chatbot conversation activity was worthwhile because it gave students a new platform for interpersonal French language communication. And using this activity, the students were able to choose and influence how and what they learned. They reported that they enjoyed the activity, and they said that they would love to do more of it. Thank you for listening to my presentation.